It's 25 degrees in Kingston, cloudy with snow beginning this afternoon. Complete weather follows noon hour news. Fire has destroyed the 28th floor of a new Quebec government building being constructed to the annex of the National Assembly. No estimate of damage is yet available. Metro Toronto police say smoke bombs tossed through the windows of two prominent businessmen early today were part of a protest against capitalism and the Trudeau government. There is a new suggestion today that the South Vietnamese forces might one day invade North Vietnam. President Tu of the Saigon regime says it's up to Hanoi to decide whether North Vietnam wants to be attacked on its own territory. And Prime Minister Trudeau's office says a visit to Ottawa by President Nixon this year would be logical, but no plans have yet been made. Earlier, a Montreal newspaper said the trip is in the planning stage. 18 mechanics on the maintenance staff at Elcan have been laid off, but the men will be offered jobs in the production division of the firm. Personal assistant to the works manager, Roy Collins, told CKWS News that the layoff was not an indication of a decline in business, but rather that the staff were no longer needed for the installation of new equipment. He explained that as the two unions were involved, it was necessary to go through the process of a layoff. He said the men will be offered positions in the production division of that firm. Ontario Provincial Police in Bancroft are investigating the shooting deaths yesterday of 43-year-old Ross Maxwell and his wife, Evelyn, 42. Mr. Maxwell was the bailiff for North Hastings County. He and his wife had 9 children, 7 in school, 1 married and 1 working. Police were called to the Maxwell home by a man who said he would tell police what he wanted when they arrived. On the doorstep, police found the body of a dog. Mrs. Maxwell's body was in the bedroom and her husband's body in the kitchen with a rifle beside him. Detective Sergeant Cotois from Belleville is assisting in the investigation. An autopsy will be held tomorrow. A farmer who threatened snowmobilers in Belleville with a rifle and ripped wires from 2 snowmobiles chose to go to jail yesterday rather than pay a fine. 54-year-old Albert Fair was found guilty of possessing a firearm dangerous to the public, common assault, and willfully damaging a snowmobile. He was sentenced to a fine of $124 or 15 days. Judge Gordon Runciman explained sympathy with Fair for the crop damage he claimed, but said less drastic methods could be used to deal with trespassers. And a student senator at Queen's University has expressed his concern about the possibility of a library strike during final exams. Last week, more than 150 of 166 library employees, predominantly female and members of Local 1302 of the Canadian Union of Public Employees, voted in favor of strike action if the results of a conciliation hearing at the end of this month are unsatisfactory. Exams run from the 3rd week in April to the end of May. Senator Jeff Simpson said students will urgently need efficient use of the library during this period. The principal of Queen's, Dr. J.J. Deutsch, told Mr. Simpson at a Senate meeting yesterday that although no contingency plans had been made, negotiations could be extended if the agreement was not reached at the end of March. The library employees have been attempting to negotiate their first contract with Queen's since last August. The chairman of the PUC in Kingston, Dr. R.H. Hay, says Ontario Hydro customers can expect annual rate increases of about 7%, at least until 1978. Dr. Hay told the annual meeting of the Ontario Municipal Electric Association in Toronto that power costs to the hydro system will be passed on to the consumer. Hydro rates were raised 7% January 1st. Dr. Hay is chairman of the OMEA's Power Costing Committee. The chairman of Ontario Hydro, George Gathercole, told municipal utilities representatives in Toronto yesterday to be prepared for further increases in rates. Ontario Hydro's plans to hook up the new Lennox generating station in Bath with the power grid system north of Kingston have run into a snag. Hydro is seeking an extended right-of-way on the west side of a transmission line between a point just north of the 401 and Mervale to allow for the stringing of additional power cable. But 3 Kingston Township farmers along the line have objected to that proposal, however, saying that such a move would mean the destruction of buildings. All 3 have suggested to Kingston Township Planning Board that the right-of-way be taken to the east of the existing power line. Hydro, on the other hand, has already received the approval of all other municipalities concerned to take the right-of-way on the west side of the line. And to take a jog to the east to satisfy the farmers involved would mean considerable expense. Kingston Township Council, which had approved Hydro's plan in principle, reserved a final decision to allow more deliberation on that subject. Representatives of Hydro's Property Division, Ronald Miller and Robert Anderson, said they wanted to have the Kingston area line and 2 others out of the Lennox station in service by March 1974. Canada's private television network, CTV, has provided $500 worth of scholarships for 3 undergraduate students, $166 each, with at least B standing in 1971-72. The awards will be granted to those who have made a substantial contribution to student newspapers, radio stations, and production of student films. The scholarships were announced at yesterday's meeting of the Queen's Senate. A symposium on the control of automobile pollution will be held this Thursday at Queen's University. Representatives from the car and fuel industries will take part in the afternoon session of the symposium in Stirling Hall. At the evening session, to be held in McLaughlin Hall, fourth-year mechanical engineering student Bill Drummond will give a demonstration of automobile exhaust emission measurement instruments. The general public is invited to attend both sessions of the symposium, sponsored by the student branch of the Society for Automotive Engineers and the students of the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Queen's. And the weather forecast, cloudy with snow beginning this afternoon, snow and blowing snow again tonight, with winds northeasterly 20 to 30. Accumulations of 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. Snow tomorrow changing to flurries and clearing by late afternoon. Tonight's low 15 to 20, high forecast for tomorrow near 30 degrees. Currently it's 25 WS degrees. And that's the noon hour news and weather. Max is next with sports. Jim Wright, good afternoon.